Have you ever listened to a truly beautiful Quran recitation and just wondered, how do they do that? How does it sound so perfect, so moving? Well, that beauty isn't just raw talent. It's a science called Tajwid. And today, we're going to unlock some of its most important secrets, using real examples from Surah Al-Baqarah to really transform the way you recite the words of Allah. You know, it's a question that can make you pause for a second. Because in Arabic, a tiny, and I mean tiny, shift in how you say a letter can literally change a word's meaning. So today, we're not just memorizing some boring list of rules. Oh no, we're learning how to protect the meaning of the Quran and, honestly, deepen our own personal connection to it, one sound at a time.
So what's the big deal with Tajwid anyway? It's so much more than just pronunciation. Think of it like this. It's a sacred trust. It's the precise set of rules that make sure we recite every single letter, every word of the Quran, exactly as it was revealed to our Prophet, peace be upon him. It's how the message has been kept pure and perfect for centuries.
Okay, let's dive in. We'll start with one of the most common sounds you'll run into in the entire Quran, the silent N sound. You'll find it on the letter Nun when it has that little circle above it, the sukoon, and in those double vowel markings at the end of words, which we call tanween. Now, here's the fun part. Think of this N sound as a chameleon. It completely changes how it sounds based on the very next letter it meets.
First up is a rule called iqlab, which literally means to flip. And this one is awesome because it's so specific and easy to remember. It only kicks in when our silent N sound comes right before one single letter, the letter ba. That's it. N meets ba and a flip happens. Simple as that.
Now this is where it gets really cool, because the Quranic script itself gives you a brilliant little cheat code. Just look at the word shay'un. You see the tanween, and it's followed by the letter ba in the next word. But wait, do you see that tiny little meme written right there above it? That's your signal. That's the Quran telling you, hey, iqlab goes here. So here's the magic. You don't say shay'un fatiba. Nope. Instead, you take that N sound and you flip it into a light M sound. You just gently bring your lips together and hold it with this lovely little hum through your nose. We call this beautiful nasal sound a ghunna. Listen, shay'un fatiba. It's just so soft and flowy. A beautiful transformation.
All right, so we went from a complete flip to something different, hiding. This next rule is called ikhfa. Now, unlike iqlab, which only cared about that one letter, ikhfa covers a whole group of 15 different letters. And the idea here isn't to change the N sound completely, but to kind of soften it, to hide it, almost, as you get your mouth ready for the sound of the very next letter, like the letter ta.
Let's see this in action, right here in verse 177. Antuwallu. Notice the silent N in the word an is followed by the letter ta. So instead of a hard, clear an, your tongue gets ready for the ta, but it doesn't quite touch the roof of your mouth. The sound just hangs there for a second with a light nasal hum. Antuwallu. It creates this really smooth, seamless flow between the words.
And now, for the complete opposite of hiding, is har, which literally means clarity. This is the rule for when that silent N is followed by one of the 6 throat letters, you know, the ones that come from deep in your throat. And when this happens, you do nothing fancy at all, you just pronounce that N sound sharply, clearly, with absolutely zero nasal hum.
And this is the perfect example. In the phrase sami'un alim, the tanween on sami'un is followed by the throat letter ayn. So you say that un sound with total, crisp clarity. Sami'un alim. Sharp, clear, precise. There's no blending, no hiding, just pure, distinct sound.
Awesome. So now that we've got a handle on how that chameleon in sound works, let's zoom in on some specific letter characteristics that add that rhythm and melody to the recitation. I mean, these are the little details that really make the words sing.
Okay, let's talk about a rule that adds this awesome rhythm to your recitation. Qalqala. It's like a special vibration or a little echo that happens on 5 specific letters: qaf, ta, ba, jim, and dal. But here's the key. It only happens when they're silent, or sakin. So instead of the sound just stopping dead, it gets a little bounce.
And applying it is super simple. First, you spot one of those 5 letters. Second, you just double check that it's sakin, no vowel on it. And third, you just give it that light bounce. It's not supposed to be a heavy, jarring sound. Think of it more like a quick, echoing vibration that just keeps the sound alive for a split second. Here's a perfect example from our verse. Look at the word wabna. The letter ba is one of our qalqala letters, right? And it has a sukoon on it. So you don't say wab-na, where the sound just stops and dies. No way. You say wab-na with a little bounce on that B sound. Can you hear that? That little echo? That's qalqala.
I absolutely love this next point from the lesson because it's a mistake so many of us make without even realizing it. It's all about the letter ta. See, ta is supposed to be a light, delicate letter. But in a word like takhfif, it's so easy to make it heavy and thick, almost like takh. The right way is to keep it bright and airy, ta.
So how do you do that? How do you make sure your takhfif is light? The instructor gives this brilliant, unforgettable tip. Smile when you say the ta. Seriously, try it right now. When you smile, your mouth naturally flattens into the perfect position to make a lighter, crisper, and more accurate sound. Ta, takhfif. What a fantastic piece of advice. Okay, let's put it all together. This is the fun part. We've learned about flipping, hiding, making things clear, and bouncing sounds. Now we're going to actually recite part of verse 177 from Surah Al-Baqarah and hear how all these rules we've talked about just flow together in real time. Let's start the verse, لَيْسَ الْبِرَّ أَن تُوَلُّوا. Did you hear that? Right there, in أَن تُوَلُّوا. That noon sakina is followed by the ta, so we apply ikhfa, hiding that end sound with a light nasal hum to seamlessly connect those two words. Moving on, listen for the stressed noon sounds, وَلَكِنَّ الْبِرَّ, and then وَالنَّبِيِّينَ. You hear that extended nasal sound? That's our old friend, the gunna. Then, right in the middle, you get وَالْمَلَائِكَةِ, where we stretch that ah sound. That elongation is a rule called mad. Each one adds its own little layer of melody. And to finish it off, وَبَنَ السَّبِيلِ. And there it is. That little bounce on the B, that's our qalqala rule in action. See, when you listen to it all together, you can really hear how these rules aren't just separate things, they weave together to create this one seamless, fluid, and beautiful flow. You know, at the end of the day, mastering Tajwid isn't about passing some kind of technical exam. It's about beautifying your conversation with the law. It's about honoring this sacred text and truly feeling the rhythm and the profound meaning of every single word you recite. Every single verse of the Quran is a huge ocean of knowledge, and we've really only explored a few drops today. This journey of perfecting our recitation is a beautiful, lifelong pursuit. So the only question is, what's next on your list to master? Thanks so much for joining us.